right, everyone, welcome back to another little episode. Just a bit of fun, this one. We constantly get asked questions. 79 versus 76, what's your thoughts? Should you go at 76? Should you go at 79? So it's just a bit of a fun video. I'll just sort of make it up as I go along, but let's get into it, eh? Let's go. All right, everyone, welcome back to another little episode. Just a bit of fun, this one. We constantly get asked questions. 79 versus 76, what's your thoughts? And so I thought I'd just do a quick little video. Unfortunately, the poor 76 is going to get retired. It'll be up for sale. Probably might even be sold before this video goes live. But I just thought I'd do a quick little comparison, run you through a couple of things I did differently on the 79, but mainly just the basic thoughts for you guys that keep asking, should you go at 76? Should you go at 79? So it's just a bit of a fun video. I'll just sort of make it up as I go along, but let's get into it, eh? All right, so there's a couple of main reasons that I jumped to the 79 from the 76. One is room, space, and the other one is probably GVM. Now, you have pretty limited GVM on the 76 at 3 tonnes, so you've got to be extremely creative with how much gear you put on and what you're doing. Even in the 79s, you only get 3.5 tonne from manufacturing. So look, I don't know how many legal 79s there are getting around it. You can get up to 3.5 tonne just like that. So that was one of the main reasons. So obviously this one's got the full upgraded chassis. It's got the J-Max. There's a full video on it if anyone wants to check it out. Go and have a look at the build series on the 79. But this has been upgraded to 4.5 tonne, or 4495 I should say, because people will get a little bit pedantic. But it allows me for touring. You know, the reason I build both these trucks was for touring. So this allows me to take all the bits and pieces I want for touring and make sure I'm still under that correct GVM, which is, you know, obviously good for your insurances and safety and bits and pieces. The other big one is room. So 70 series by themselves, straight away, you know that they're tight. They're a narrow car. They're pretty compact. Look, if you got young kids, you can probably get away with having them in the back seat. Once they start getting a little bit older, teenagers, you're probably in a bit of strife, let's be honest. So 76, I get a lot of families sort of message me and say, you know, what do you think about the whole family in the 76? A couple of really awesome features about the 76 is that it's fully enclosed, right? It's a wagon. I love wagons for the fact that you buy it, you can put your setup in the back, everything's out of the weather, not getting covered in dust. If you get a 79, you basically have to spend an absolute fortune to kit out the back. Or if you want to have just the tray by itself and stack all your gear in it, you know, then you're susceptible to all the rain and dust and all those sorts of things. So expense is a big one. You buy a 79, similar price to a 76, then you got to go and whack a whole nother bunch of money on the rear end. So you learn to get creative in the 76. So I actually got all the back end in this thing done by Cruiser Customs about 3 years ago. Now it's done us well. Let's be honest, it was a really simple setup. I've seen just about all of Australia in this truck. If it's just you and the missus, this is a great touring truck. I had the back seats removed, false floor, ran an extra fridge, and you can make it work. Like 100% you can make it work. And it is a cracking touring truck. If you got a few more people and the family and you want to go touring, my advice is probably to look at stepping up into the 79 with a full canopy setup. I honestly do not even know myself with this much space. It is incredible. You can definitely take a few of those extra items that didn't really have anywhere to go in the 76. So I think, you know, if you're just doing those weekends trips and you got a young family, then you'll get away with the 76. If you want to start doing some of those bigger camping trips or more touring trips, my advice would probably be to jump up with something that has a little bit more room, purely because you do start to get a little bit tight in the 76. Now, one thing I want to talk about after now having the 79 for a little bit. I still need to get, you know, a lot more kilometers under my belt before I can give too much feedback on the whole of the 79 build. But the biggest thing that nobody talks about, and I didn't even really consider it, to be honest, is just, it's the turning circle. The turning circle on the 79s are pretty average. Let me tell you, when you go and do a 300mm chassis extension, the turning circle on this thing absolutely sucks. Now, that's something that no one ever really tells you. Now, the 76 on the other hand, this thing is nimble and it can duck and weave and go wherever. Obviously, mid wheelbase, long wheelbase extension. Pretty obvious, I know, but it honestly was not something that I really considered when I bought the 79. I didn't, you know, and you're all gonna call me dickheads, of course. It's longer, the wheelbase is longer, the car's longer. And I knew there'd probably be, it'd be a little bit hard to maneuver, but a 300mm chassis extension Landcruiser, I don't know if this has been mentioned in too many videos, sucks for turning circle. Let me make that very clear. Go and drive one before you consider doing it. If you're gonna have it as a daily vehicle, make sure you go and drive one first, honestly. The 76, nimble as hell. So when we're out on these tight tracks next year, I guarantee you, I'm gonna know the difference. Now, we will be towing a van next year, so I'm gonna have to pick and choose a little bit of what I do anyway, this year. I keep saying next year in all my videos. So with the 76, my type of exploring is if I see a track, I take it. And I go all the way down it, no matter how long it takes me until I run into a dead end. That's why a lot of people hate going on some of my trips. But with the towing the caravan and this thing's turning circle, you look, it's always compromises. You can't have something that's super nimble and longer with all the gear. So there's a compromise for absolutely everything, but I just thought that's something I'd flag because I didn't really consider it too much. We'll run through some of the rest of the vehicle here just to point out a few bits and pieces, maybe why I changed some things. Suspension wise, I had a 3-inch lift on this one. Honestly, the 3-inch in my opinion is a pretty good height for a vehicle. When it comes to doing the pre-registration kit on the 79, you can either go 2 inches or 4 inches. So you can't run the 3-inch kit. I went the 4-inch. Honestly, I'm stoked with it. I didn't think, I thought it was going to be a little bit higher for me to reach everything, but I've mounted everything nice and low for the awnings and bits and pieces, and you know, even just getting into your drawers in the canopy. There's no point in building a tourer and not really being able to use it practically day in, day out. So that's the reason I've gone the 4 inches in that. I also like running the big 35s for all those off-road, gets you up a little bit higher. So you've got to go to the 4-inch to get the 35-inch tyres. You can do these GVM kits on a 2-inch and 33s, but just keep in mind you can't do a 3-inch kit. So the 3-inch, that's different. Look, we ran all King suspension in this truck. Absolutely loved it. Something else I can point out real quick is I ran the steel wheels. I think that was just a bit of a old school mentality that I had. Steel wheels is something I've had on all my vehicles. They're just rough and tough, and if you bloody dent them or bang them, you can sort of bang them back. Alloy wheels have come a long way in the last probably 5-10 years, and look, they're a lot lighter, but then they're also a lot stronger these days. So I'm running from Race Wheels Australia, I'm running the Methods. These are a 312 method, and they're rated to 1,600 kilos. So I guarantee you these steel rims are not rated to that. So that's the reason I've gone from a steel to an alloy. I swapped mirrors over, which is something is pretty pickable. These ones were the clear views. I actually had them cut down before I bought them because they stuck out a little bit far. That was one of my biggest reasons, jumping over to MSA towing mirrors. They're in nice and tight. They're just a little bit more compact, neat, in my opinion. I reckon they look absolutely shit hot. Then what else have we got that I've changed? Not a lot. All the interior on these are the same. I'm running the same rooftop gear. I got the same snorkel, the same power. Obviously, older vehicle versus new vehicle. This one's got the DPF. Yes, I still have the DPF in. A bit of a pain in the arse. You don't get the nice note. It's not as easy to create a lot of horsepower out of these. Still, we've got something coming. So stay tuned for that. We'll be doing a full performance video on the 79. But Look, everything is pretty bloody similar between my builds. All ARB bar works on there. This was a Red Arc Manager 30 system, which was kind of the best of the best at the time. Now we've stepped up into their Red Vision and TVMS in the 79. 76, I never ran any solar. The way I tour, I'm driving just about every day. It's quick, we're on the move all the time. So I didn't really need solar input on this vehicle. I've started doing a couple of longer trips, and of course next year on the road we're touring, we're living out of the vehicle, so we will sit still for a little bit longer, which is why I put 300 watts of the Red Arc solar up on top, and honestly, I love it. I could open the canopy up now and I guarantee you the batteries are sitting at 100%. So that was something I learned on this truck. You know, every now and again you do probably have to get in, go for a drive, or plug a solar blanket in. Having solar permanently fixed, absolutely love it. Kind of wish I'd done it on this vehicle, to be completely honest. While we're on sort of power, I was running lead crystal batteries in this. At the time when I built it, lithium was super expensive and kind of a new thing on the market. Lead crystal was meant to be unreal. Heavy batteries. I've gone to lithium in this truck, a lot lighter, and they're just an all-round better battery. So stoked with the lithium. Still need to test this system out 100%, which is when I'll do a full 12-volt video once I've used it for probably a good month or so on the road, so I can give you some decent feedback. So then moving on, long-range tanks. I ran a long-range tank in this. I've got another long-range tank in the truck. Love long-range. It just allows you to travel that little bit further. I think I've got about 150 litres in here, which, look, honestly, 150 is pretty good range. That'll sort of get you just about anywhere in Australia, but you will have to stop at some of those small remote towns and sort of pay a shitload of money on fuel and some dodgy spots. So I've gone up and put another auxiliary tank in this truck, which gives me 300 litres, which is enough to do whatever the hell I want. So if you're chasing any long-range tanks, Brown Davis do, you know, 300 litres for the 79s, which is absolutely massive. Now, scrub rails are the same. I'm just looking as we go around. Water, something I learnt on this truck was, look, I actually, when I built the draw system, I had a spot and I was going to get a custom-made water tank. Probably would have been about 30, 40 litres. I ended up putting a 20-litre jerry can in and just a little flexible hose. Unreal, but I only ever had 20 litres of water storage. So, you know, I wasn't showering off it. I always ran out of water while we were travelling around. So with this truck, that was one thing that I definitely learnt and I wanted to do on the 79. So we've got the Boss aluminium tray. I got 85 litres and then 70 underneath. So plenty of water storage. All right, so we'll come down the back a little bit. Ease of use. Now, look how easy this is, right? You open up the canopy door. I got full access to absolutely everything. Now, on the 76, I actually used to have dual swingaways with the 2 spare tyres. When you live out of it, becomes a huge pain in the ass. You open one side up, you open the other side up, and then you open your 2 barn doors. So you've had to open 4 bloody latches just to get into your back. And sometimes all you want to do is grab a bottle of water out of the fridge or something simple like that, or grab something out of the drawers. Then you've got to close everything up. So ease of use, obviously a lot more storage in the 79, but it's just a lot more practical. I dropped back to 1 spare wheel on the back for that reason, that all I had to do was open 1 barn door if I wanted to get something out, or I just wanted to chuck something in quickly. So that was that's why I dropped one of the dual spares. Something just to think about. I'm just trying to, on the run here, just tell you things that I loved and things that I hated. Having the ability to just open the canopy door on the side of the road. It also gives you an instant awning, essentially, so you get plenty of shade. If you're on the side of the road and it's raining, you can open up the canopy door. I can still get a few bits and pieces out without getting too wet. That's something I've learnt real quick already, just with our 9 days at Stratty, is a little bit of protection. The other one, you're sitting there trying to undo 100 latches and you get wet. Rooftop tent setups, very similar. Cool thing about the 79 is you can put it on your canopy, which means you still get a bit of roof rack storage. Best thing about the Bush Company rooftop tents is you can use it as a roof rack anyway. So look, that's if you're running a decent rooftop tent, it's not too big an issue. But if you want to run some of those smaller ones or fiberglass and you can't use them as a roof rack, you have no space left on your roof. If we want to talk about comfort, there's not a lot between them. Obviously this thing I've gone to coils. So this car is an absolute dream to ride. The J-Max kit, got to give it to them. This thing rides and handles like an absolute dream. The leafs in the rear, it's always going to be a slightly rougher ride. Rooftop 10 on top, always going to be slightly more top heavy. The longer wheelbase with the coils, even with the rooftop up top. I can sit in this thing, drove it back from Melbourne, 13, 14, 16 hours straight, whatever it was. Absolutely loved it. So look, I'll probably wrap it up there. There's not probably too much else to talk about. If you guys have got any questions to do with 76, 79, put them in the comments. I'll make sure I go through and answer every single one. I just wanted to do a little bit of a quick comparo. I hope I've covered most things, but all in all, to wrap it up, 76, epic if you probably don't quite have the extra dollars to spend on a 79 with a full canopy setup and you want to get out there. Great for those couples. If you've got small kids, you'll get away with it. If you're going to take the whole tribe and you want to take all the bloody gear, get yourself into a dual cab. You will thank me. You run out of room so quick in these things, it's ridiculous. For those touring trips, look, obviously you want to take more water, better GVM, all those sorts of things. So the 79 wins again. Tightness on tracks and off-road ability. That's one thing that I'll probably have to come back to you. Obviously this thing's going to outsteer this in all the tight sections. I may have to do a couple more 3-point turns and watch my wheel placement a little bit more carefully. But I'm really, really interested to see how the 79 goes on the harder stuff. It's a lot heavier, the wheelbase is longer. So it's going to be interesting, but I really do think with the 4-inch, the longer wheelbase, I should be just outside all of those main wombat holes. I think this thing's going to go really well off-road, but stay tuned for a video on that. I get asked quite a lot on that one. How do you think it's going to go? It's big, it's heavy. It's never going to be a rock climber. It's going to be 4-ton vehicle. So, but we'll see. Anyway, guys, make sure you do hit me with any of your questions. If you are liking the content, make sure you subscribe. We are getting ready at the moment for the big lap. We'll be on the road end of February, hopefully. So stay tuned for some caravan videos coming on what we're building, how we pack for our trips around Australia. And then, of course, we're on the road full time, living the dream. It's something I've wanted to do my whole life, and I can't even tell you how excited I am. So, subscribe, turn the bell on if you want to see some of that content. Once again, thanks for watching, guys. Till next time, get out and enjoy the Explore life.